I have a little sheep. I have a little sheep. My little sheep. Bear, bear, bear. No, you're not a sheep. You're a poodle. Good morning. This is a poodle. I went on a podcast with Dominic and Christian from Sheep Farm. And when the link was sent to me, we were live basically, so we could see each other, even though it's a podcast. And this little princess walked past, and Dominic says, "Is that a sheep?" Say good morning, Lily. Say good morning. What are you doing, woman? She was comfortable. Sorry, she got a really comfortable position. She was sat right by the side of me, and she was comfy, so I've just disturbed her. She's a good girl. She's a really good girl. She's a great companion. In the farm last night, there's been a cat that's been coming from, we've no idea. I have no idea where from on a night. So I bought some food, and Lily freaks out because the cat is not frightened at all. So it's like, you know, cats, dogs chase cats. Not in this circumstance. So the cat just looks as if to say, bark as much as you want. Didn't bother me, and that kind of really freaks her out. She just doesn't know how to handle it. I just laugh, and I think it's a lovely cat. So I'm really, thank you for coming. My last cat, I can't call it mine anymore, it belongs to Susie, my ex-wife. It knocked on the window where we lived. Just basically, that's no joke, it knocked on the window. And it was only a little tiny kitten, so we let it in, and it became part of the family. So this cat that keeps coming now, it's like, okay, it's cool, part of the family. So it's come every night so far. It's come every night so far. It's got 2 collars on, and it meows till I come out, and then I feed it, and then it's happy again, and it goes on its way. Doesn't come into the house, just stays outside. I give it a stroke a couple of times. Yeah, it's just lovely to see the reaction of Lily trying to figure it out. So I better switch that off. So, good morning everybody. That's just, I don't know why I said that. It's just, I find it fascinating. Farm life. We've got 6 people at the farm this morning. 2 are cutting the palm trees. I don't know if anybody's got palm trees. We've got 6 palm trees in the garden, and they're lovely, but they're very expensive to look after because the leaves don't just drop off. They kind of hang, and they'll hang there all the time, and then you've got to cut them, or else it just looks really ugly. But the unfortunate thing, to cut them, it costs literally hundreds and hundreds of euros. And although you don't need to cut them all the time, it's a lot of money. And then we've got people taking care of the mangoes, and we've just managed to sell the last of the mangoes now, all of them from the bottom. Sell them, I don't know, maybe give them away. It feels like we're giving them away. It's actually incredible how nobody wants to buy organic, free from pesticide mangoes. It's incredible. Yeah, you might get people saying, "Oh yeah, I'd like some." I'm talking about major corporations, major companies, even the small shops in the villages. Not interested. Not interested. It's the strangest of things. Learning so much about food. Bottom line, I think there's about, I'm probably saying this on a massive scale. If you look at the whole world and you ask how many people actually are conscious, food conscious, health conscious, I would say 5%, 5% maximum. Rest of the people, you know what, it doesn't matter. They're not interested. Just put the food on the table. Just grab it from the shelf on the supermarket floor and just cook it. Overcook it. Kill the food, even though the food's killed anyway. Very few people are interested in actually preparing and doing their homework and research about where the food is coming from, actually going out and saying, okay, my life is about health and well-being, therefore let food be thy medicine, let medicine be thy food. If that's the case, then why aren't you walk the walk, talk the talk? Why are you just going into a supermarket and buying non-foods that look like fruit and vegetables, which they're not fruit and vegetables? And I can tell you something 100% for sure. Any labels that say it's organic in supermarkets is bullshit. Absolute BS. So you have to do your homework. You've got to do your research. You've got to speak to groups. You've got to talk to local people. You've got to look for local produce. That's the only real chance you're going to get for getting organic, healthy food. So I have 3 places now where I go to. One is my garden, which is the number 1 place where you're guaranteed you're going to get free from pesticides that kill you eventually or give you cancer or all the other diseases. Then I've got a little tiny shop which I go to, which is all organic, which is fantastic. And I've just found another place now which is all organic, which I have to travel about an hour and 15 minutes. And you know what? It's worth every penny. It's worth every moment of my life. As you get older, you realize, and some people say to me, yeah, I don't have time. Yeah, you do. You do, because you'd have time if you found out your child had got cancer, or if you've got cancer. Funny how you make time for it then. You know what I mean? So all of these things are relative. Most people don't give a shit about anything, really. That's the majority. They don't give a shit about anything. Just get on with life. Just get on with it. Oh, we're just going to do this. Oh, we're just going to do that. Oh, let's try and get a holiday once a year. And that's the bottom line, really. Most people don't really do what they say they do, and that's the truth. Most people just procrastinate, and that's the truth. We're all guilty of that, all of us, in whatever we do. What we should do is start looking at ourselves, listening to ourselves, and really focusing on it, really focusing on, what we say, and are we really doing what we say? What really concerns me, and it's a concern that I find fascinating, is how people cannot discern the difference between love and hate and light and dark. And it's becoming more evident day by day, and you can see it's so clear to see most people just follow whatever their brain tells them their ears like, and that's it. I have a lot of lovely friends who send me posts of people who, quite frankly, are Pied Pipers. They say something, but they don't do it. They're amazing at talking. They're fantastic at talking, but you can see straight through them. It's all an act. It's all a stage show. They're acting. they're not real, they're not genuine, and behind closed doors, they're nothing like what they say. Nothing. And that's fascinating to me. I mean, there's certain people in this world who, let's say, have an addictive personality. So they may be actors, addictive to that energy. They may be addicted to drugs, and they come off all of these things, and then they become addicted to, let's say, spirituality. And then people think that this is a reborn new person who's changed their ways. No, they're still the same person. They've just gotten addicted to spirituality. And now they're spewing out words, acting, but they're not really being who they are. They're not being true to themselves. They're just performing again. And there's a lot of gurus, self-proclaimed gurus now, who are trying to look more like Jesus Christ, and the discernment seems to be zero. I don't know why, but it's like their next captive audience are so easily captured by what's called sheeple. They just follow anything, and it's like, hang on a minute, stop for a minute. Who is that person? Look at them. Who are they? Oh yeah, but they've changed. Oh, how's that then? How do you know that? Because they're speaking and they're saying things that make you think that they've changed. That's not discerning. That's just listening to conversation. If you see through that and listen to them, look at them. Look at what they do. Look at everything about them. Look deep into what's going on. You'll soon find a lot of flaws. You'll soon find that this is false. It's all false, but it's a great way of marketing themselves. It's a great way of feeding the ego again. It's a great way of getting fans, and it's so clever how they do it. So you have to be really careful. Discernment is the probably most powerful energy that you hold inside you, and you need to reawaken that. And that's the pineal gland. And remember, when anybody's talking about spirituality, it doesn't make them spiritual, guys. In fact, I normally run a mile when somebody tells me they're spiritual. And that's the same thing when people are alive and doing videos and they have massive podcasts and they're telling you all about the spiritual world. They know nothing about the spiritual world. They've just read it, and they're brilliant at regurgitating. They're fantastic at memory. Their memory is incredible. So it sounds like they know what they're talking about, but they haven't a clue. Sit them down and say, okay, you've done enough talking. Let's see. Let's do this now. Let's see how you can channel. Let's see how you can bring out the love and light. Let's see how you can heal. Let's see what you can do. Let's see what real spiritual. Where are you going? Well, they're off. That's right, because they're acting. They're actors, guys. They're not genuine. But people just fall for it. And it's always baffled me. But maybe that's the whole point. Maybe that's the whole point. Maybe darkness is always there to weave into people, and the wrong people, perhaps. The ones who are easily influenced, and those that can then bring forward a huge crowd. Yeah, it's very interesting. And it's funny because this has happened throughout my 20 years of doing this, of people who claim to be gurus, who claim to be this and that, and then they've had, my friends have had arguments with me who saying they're amazing gurus, and then all of a sudden they realise they're not so amazing. They're actually abusive, and they're, they won't know that, but it comes out eventually that they've done terrible things, and they use their presence and their knowledge to entice young girls, or have sex parties, or I don't know, all the things that you're not walking the walk, mate. Just because you've got a beard, just because you're saying, talking with and ending with a s, doesn't make you a good, just because you've got all this information that you've downloaded from your last mentor, because I don't know if you know that, but these gurus are mentored. Did you know that? They're mentored from young children. So basically they have a mentor. So they have a guru that they stay with. Same with Babaji. He was mentored. And I know well, I don't know him personally, but when I went to see Babaji, they had already groomed one young man to take over Babaji. So what they were doing was feeding him all the information that he now needs to regurgitate when Babaji dies. That's Gurinder Singh, okay? There's many Babas. Baba means father, right? Babaji. But these are many different gurus. Well, they're not gurus per se. And what does guru mean? At the end of the day, these people are basically studying, and it's a form of religion when all's said and done. So that's how I see it. It's kind of, okay, maybe it's a way of life, and it's beautiful. But then look at what they do. Look at the last guru, who everybody's following now. When he talks, he has like, you know, like the snake does in Harry Potter. Listen to the hiss at the end. Okay, I might be going off on one here, conspiracy. But hey, hang on a minute. This guy is pushing vaccines. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Have you not seen? If you're meant to be this guru, how could you turn away and not see all your family in India, or so-called family, what you call them your family, have been chasing doctors out of villages because they've been killing them with vaccines? How come you just discern that? And hang on a minute. Now you're talking with these people who are actually trying to cull the world, and actually you start to realize now they're actually into eugenics, and this is one of the biggest gurus in the world now. Come on, guys. Just because somebody speaks something that sounds nice doesn't make them a genuine soul. And these are the things that you've got to discern yourself. And then then people bow down to them and then call them gurus. Don't ever call somebody a guru, and they love it. They want you to. Oh, don't. Yeah, you do. You love it. You love your platform. Pretend to be a guru. You're not a guru, mate. Tell you what you are. You're looked after. You're programmed. You're conditioned by just the same system, but in a different manner. As a kid, you're programmed, just like Schwabs and all of them. They were programmed as kids, just like what's his name, Gates, Bill Offence. They were all programmed as kids. Okay, it might be a father or it might be a guru. It doesn't matter. They're programmed to speak and do all of these things. You know, look at genuine people who are not programmed, who are just genuine, normal people who ended up on a spiritual path. They didn't have no mentors in the sense that, they were brought up from a child. They broke free from their childhood program and started finding their... Just look and think about it. What would make you more spiritual? You know? It doesn't make you more spiritual if you've been brought up being told exactly what to say. What makes you spiritual is your personal experience. These gurus don't have personal experiences, and people say, "Oh, gurus, you know, they're amazing." No, they're not. You're more amazing than any guru. Me, yeah, you. You have to get up in the morning. You've got to wash yourself. You've got to wash your kids. You've got to go to school. You've got to take your kids to school. You've got to work all day. Then you come home and you've got to clean the house. Then you've got to deal with people all day long. You've got to clean your energy. You've got to work on yourself. You've got to heal yourself. You've got to eat. You've got to cook. You've got to do all of these things all the time. What does a guru do? Oh, he gets lifted up off a chair, taken to a group of people, says 20 minutes of a talk or an hour, then gets lifted up and taken to a kibbutz and said, oh, he needs to rest and heal now for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 6 months, and then we take him out again. Give me a break. There's nothing guru about guru. You're the guru. I keep saying that, guys, to you. You've got to realize that you are the master of your life, and anybody else is just pretending around you. Everything else is just a pretense. Anybody who calls themselves a guru or spiritual, just fake. Don't even go there. Don't go there, because there's more false. Una más, por favor, gracias. I'm going to have another coffee before I go to work. Anyway, enough. I don't mean to upset anybody. If you like all of these gurus and these self-proclaimed gurus now who are taking over the podcasts in England and America and all that, that's fine. If you get something from it, that's fine. I just there's a fine line between, okay, that makes sense, I'll work on that, and actually bowing down to them and then following everything that they say, because eventually what they will do is they will capture you like a Pied Piper, and once you've bought into them, that's it. Don't buy into any guru. Don't you ever buy into anybody. I used to have people come to me and after healing session, and this is the honest to God's truth. You can ask my ex-wife. They used to bow down to me. They used to bow, and they used to like this. Oh, you are my guru, and I used to freak. I used to freak out. I used to be so angry at my client. I used to be so upset. Don't you ever do that to another human being in your life. You are equal to anybody else. We all have gifts. We all go through pain. We all heal each other in one way or another. Don't you dare bow down. And then I used to say, if you do that again, I'll never let you walk into this doorway and have a healing session with me again. Am I clear? Yeah. There you go. I have a kind of pet hate for gracias.
Nada.
Wannabes, earthly, these people who want to be modern day gods in the eyes of people. It's just horrible. It's just horrible. It's just one way of suppressing the power and the strength within you. Like, if there's one way of stealing your light is that somebody idolizes you or is besotted by you. It's dangerous on every aspect. There's so many things why it's dangerous as well. So there you go. Am I waffling, guys? Are you all okay? How are you doing today? Let's change the subject. Shall we? How do you break an addiction without replacing it with? It's a brilliant question. I'm going to make a video to that with that today. What a brilliant question. Let me screenshot. How are you?
Good.
Bien? Perfecto.
Thank you.
I've screenshotted that and I'm going to do a video on that. It's an absolutely brilliant question. I'm not going to answer it here. I'm going to do a video on that. But yeah, how do you break an addiction without replacing it with something else? That is fabulous. That's going to make a fabulous video today. Why? Because I've actually worked with a lot of people, literally thousands of people, who have gone through the pain of going from one addiction, healing it, thinking that they're okay, and actually all they did was jump into another addiction. So they're still feeding their addiction. So yeah, it's great. We'll do a video on that. Well done. What a brilliant question. I wish I had more questions like that every day. Bend the knee to no man or woman or animal. They used to bend the knees to the animals all the time. They used to bend the knees to cats. They used to bend the knees to serpents. They still do, actually. They still do, depending on what tribe and circle or cult you're in. But yeah. Unsung heroes. Bless you, Matt. Bless you too, guys. Bless you all. Thank you for joining me this morning. 39 people. 39 people. Hello, beautiful 39 people. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. The most important thing right now, if you were to ask me what we need to do at this moment, there's a couple of things that I probably follow, and that would be the advice of my internal soul, my consciousness. If you were to ask 100 people here who actually follows the advice of the internal soul, the spirit, you'd probably find that none of them, because most people follow the advice of the brain, of the tool that we hold, of the computer memory of all our life. So we go into the computer instead of going into the spirit, the soul, the real you. So the real you, when you leave this physical body, spacesuit, has all the information. It gives you everything that you need because it's past, present and future. It is everything. When you go into meditation, you come out of your mind and you go into your spirit, your soul, your consciousness. When you are sitting in that energy, you're in perfect harmony, you're in healing mode, and inner peace is exactly what it is. And when you get in there and you start to find answers by awakening, asking the right questions, listening deep to what's being given to you, then you become one with that. So it's one of the most challenging things is when you say, Mark, how do you listen to your consciousness? It's so limited by saying that because there's no way to express that or to draw it to somebody. So it's the only way you can try and help somebody understand that. But you don't need to actually, when you elevate yourself to understanding the truth about life, is that you don't need to listen. It's there, and it's the feeling. It's that gut feeling which is actually who you are. There it is. It's all there. It's all here and now. But it's difficult for people to say, I don't know what you're talking about. So then you have to say, well, you have to listen to that. Whereas that's an actual a silly thing to say, because if you have to listen to it, it means that you're going into your brain and you're using your brain to try and listen to it. You're using your ears to try and hear it. Whereas as actual fact, it's already there to be. You are already there. So it's difficult to explain to 100 people who are using their spacesuit as everything. Whereas this is the disconnect. This is the problem, you see. The disconnect is they no longer believe that their spirit, that their consciousness is actually within them. They believe who they are is their eyes, their mouth, their nose, their ears, their smell, their hands, their pains, their brain that keeps continually causing stress and worry and fear to their life. And they believe that happiness is what we create here in the mind. Happiness isn't what you create in the mind. It's basically clearing everything to be able to go to that inner peace. That's what happiness, true happiness is. You don't have to make it. You don't need to look at it. You don't need to look for it. You don't need to try and get it. It's already there. Eternal joy and peace and stillness and all of the things that we all strive. It's there already. So you have to chip away at all the nonsense. You've got to get rid of the brain. You've got to get rid of the eyes, the ears. You've got to clear all that away as if it doesn't exist even for half an hour. And then you go into the real you that's inside. Have you ever heard that happiness is an inside job? There's a reason why they say that. So when people are laughing and joking and all that, that's just external. That's just one layer of trying to, be happy. And if scoring a goal makes you happy, that again it's okay, but it only lasts for so long. And then we're chasing that same goal. We're chasing that same friend who makes us happy. We're chasing the same relationship. I want to be with this man because he makes me happy. Again, it's just one level, and it's I'm not going to call it shallow, because we all go through that, and that's something that we need to learn, the senses, the understanding of the levels of true happiness and joy. And it doesn't come from things and people, it's inside. So if you've ever met somebody who's happy with themselves, who's comfortable in their own skin, is because they know who they are. And it's not this face and it's not this hand, it's the spirit inside. And that's why I say to people when they look at me, I'll say, you know, I look at you, not your face, not your eyes, I look at your spirit. I feel your spirit. Okay, I have to say look because they don't understand. How can you feel what you mean? So I look and see who you truly are, and I know who you are more than you know yourself. And when you know yourself more than I know you, then you will be at internal peace. Because when we're always looking at what people think about us, you know, I've got a scar on my face, he's looking at my scar. No, he's not looking at your scar. He couldn't give a shit about your scar. He's got enough problems to think about. But then this person's thinking about the scar all day. Oh, everybody's looking at my scar. Nobody gives a shit about your scar. Nobody gives a shit about your big nose. Nobody gives a shit about your droopy eyes or whatever it is, your shoulders, or nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit about what you look like. But you think that they do. No, they don't. And when you realize that, but what people do care about is they feel you. They feel your energy, whether it's good, bad, happy, sad. And the spirit inside, that there's something about this second conversation, not the conversation with the mouth. This is what I used to say to my clients. Stop talking. I'm not talking to you. But you just said something to me. No, I didn't say it to you. I said it to you. And that confused a lot of people, but it didn't matter. I'm not even listening to them. They're talking. I stopped talking. I'm talking to you. Yeah, and I'm talking back. No, I'm talking to you, the real you inside. So you can stop. And that used to shake them up a little bit. And it's true. I used to spend a lot of time, and that's why if I'm ever doing healing sessions, you'll never hear me out loud saying what I need to say, because I don't need to. I'll just speak, and the thought, and as I'm speaking, thought, but it's very quiet, nobody can hear it, but I'm actually talking to the soul. I'm speaking to the soul. I learned to speak to the soul in a way that the physical body became nil and void, didn't mean anything. Because I realised when you speak to the soul, if you can... A lot of people say that, like David Icke saying the soul is all-seeing, it's all everything, it's all powering, it's all encompassing, it's everything. You know, I kind of have a little bit of a different take to that. I think the soul actually does have energy where it can get depleted, it can get a little bit sad, it can feel not as strong. Why do I say that? Because when I work on the consciousness, the spirit, it has weight, so there's mass. So if you can blast that with pure love, then the consciousness becomes strong again. So is it true that the consciousness is always powerful and amazing? Well, in my world, I've seen a massive difference between the real you when you come in for a healing session, and after the healing session, the real you walk out. It's almost like your consciousness is shining again, it's on fire. And so I do understand what David says, where he got his information from the shamans all over the world. Obviously, that's where he got his information from, because he's not a healer, he doesn't understand this, he just talks about it, as most people do. But when you work at it, and you actually go in and feel and talk to the consciousness, talk to the real you, and feel the energy before and after a healing session, there's definitely a slight difference. There's definitely something has happened to the consciousness. It's almost like, it feels like, thank goodness somebody's talking to me, thank goodness somebody feels me. So it's almost like that we trap our own consciousness and make it nil and void, and we just think And all we do is use the spacesuit as, you know, okay, all the senses are connected to the consciousness. That I understand. But there's a disconnect. All we use is one level of the senses, and that is what we see, what we touch, what we feel, what we smell. But do we use the eyes to be able to go straight into the consciousness and speak? So the consciousness speaks through the eyes, speaks through the hands, because my spirit speaks through my hands. My consciousness speaks through the vessel that I am, to be able to download energy, to be able to heal people from that energy. So I'm using my consciousness and my spacesuit for the right reasons. When I'm healing, definitely. Maybe most of the other time I don't, and I wish I could, and I try every day, because sometimes I need you, sometimes I feel bad, and sometimes I'm stimulated by things that make me laugh, you know. But that's all part of the journey as well. So there is two energies. One energy where it's external, that we get instant highs, instant lows. But the real place where you get constant healing is when you go into the spirit and the soul and the consciousness, and you feed it, you make it strong. How do you feed it? By talking to it, by loving it, by acknowledging it, by working with it. Does this mean anything? Have I gone too silly here? Have I gone too deep? Maybe I've gone so silly. Probably gone so... Anyway, I've got a little doggy next to me. This little doggy isn't a doggy in my life, in my thought and feeling. The dog has two eyes. It's got a nose. It's got lovely little claws. It's got a beautiful body and it's fluffy. But that's not who's next to me. Who's next to me is a soul, a spirit. And inside that spirit, that consciousness is so powerful and so loving. And the connection between the body, sometimes this little conscious soul does silly things as well. It reacts to cats, it goes crazy, it does its stuff. But inside, when that consciousness touches my consciousness, when we're together and you connect, and you can feel that connection with it's, there's no words, it's pure. It's pure. It's incredible. So, but the dog still goes through the issues of pain and suffering and sadness. You know what I'm saying? That's why the interference of the brain and stuff like that. You get sick, right? You see where your dog comes. You get sick and see where your cat comes. It comes right to you because it has consciousness and feels the pain and suffering, not only of physical but of emotional. If you're not feeling well, if you've split up from your partner and you've got a cat, your cat's going to come up to you and it's going to be ever more closer. If you're dying, a dog is going to come near you and give you as much love as it can, because that's the consciousness. It's not the dog, it's not the cat, it's the soul, it's the consciousness. When people say to me, oh, the rainbow bridge, oh, just stop. You're just regurgitating information, what somebody else has told you. A spirit is a spirit. Why? I've sat there and done healing sessions and felt horses come forward on a client and said, oh my God, I can feel a spirit. It's beautiful. It's your soul. It's like a soulmate, and it's in the form of a horse. Oh my God, my horse just died, this time last year. Oh, well, it's here. Well, it's not a horse. It's consciousness. It's only showing me who it is, so I can then verbally say it back to the client so they know who's here. Is the horse any different from your grandmother? No, it's consciousness. It's a spirit. Do they live in the Rainbow Bridge? Bullshit. There's no such thing. People are making it happy. They want you to listen to all of this nonsense so they can sell it to you in a way that we go to the spirit world. We're all spirit. We come back in any form. You can come back as a tree. You can come back as an ant. It might only be for a split second, but the whole point is the experience of it. But this isn't talk what people want to hear. Okay? No, animals are different. They're totally different. They're not like us. All right, okay. Yeah, you know because somebody's told you. How do you know? Oh, they go to the Rainbow Bridge. What bloody Rainbow Bridge? What are you talking about? But this is programming, guys. It's easy. Look at all the gurus. They're programming people every day now. And people buy into it. And once you bought into it, it's done. Hang on a minute. Sit down a minute. Did you hear what he just said? Yeah. Now, feel it. Does it feel right? Yeah, it feels right. No, not in your head. Does it feel right in your conscious? Does everything feel right there? Oh, I don't know what you mean. Exactly. There's my point. Yeah, this is another good thing. You've just said something really brilliant, and that could be a full day. It could be a full day workshop. You only have to look in the eyes and to see, and there is something in the eyes, and we know this on a physical level. On a physical level, whatever's wrong with you or whatever's right with you is in the eyes, the pupils, the whole everything, and it's incredible. It's incredible when you learn to discern that, to understand that, to learn all about the vessels and the colour, and yeah. But this is what I'm trying to say. There's a deeper level. It's a great analogy, actually. Thank you for that. That's one level. But then there's another level where you look deeper into the eyes and you feel the soul. And you're there. That's where this is where you really connect. That's why when you look into somebody's eyes, sometimes you can have a connection to the soul, right? You just have this connection. Well, you're not looking at their eyes, are you? You're not looking, oh, they're nice and blue, they're beautiful. No, there's something else. There's something else, and that's why when I used to do mini workshops, what I used to do is ask people to sit next to each other and just look into each other's eyes. And most people can't connect. That's the truth. They say they can, but they can't. Some do connect. And when you're able to connect to somebody else through the eyes, well, the information can just pour out. Now, the other way for me, because opening my eyes are too distractive. So I did a channel message the other day, and that's kind of like how I used to do my readings, okay? And if you haven't seen it, it's at Mark Bajerski YouTube channel, and it says a channel message, and I talk a little bit and then just ignore that and wait, and you'll see me close my eyes. As soon as I close my eyes, that is channeling. So I learned to channel, and at the same time I learned to feel. How did I feel? I used to take my two hands, close my eyes and put them over your two hands. Lift my hands up so I'm just connecting with energy, not with flesh, because sometimes that can cause a distraction. So above the hands and feel, and then it comes pouring in. Do you know how many people used to look at me with a jaw dropped down saying, how did you know I've got that physical pain in my ear? How do you know that my left toe, little toe, is in pain? People were like gobsmacked. And I said, it's not hard. You just got to practice it, and you become the other person. You feel the other person. You step into their energy and feel what if there's any issues or anything that needs strengthening. Now, when people talk to you who've done that, when people share information about the soul, the spirit, about physical, about the psychic, about the healing, about energy, then I'll say, yeah, that person knows what they're talking about. But most people are listening to the wrong people who have no idea what they're talking about. Why is it that people just say, hang on a minute, how do you know all this? Where's this all coming from? This is regurgitating of information, or simply your brain digesting all the information that you've got and then coming up with answers, which sound brilliant, sound amazing, but are they real? They can't be real if you're not actually experiencing them. The only thing that is really real is experience, right? Problem, you see the problem, you react to that problem, right? And you, at the end of it, you'll see what's happened. You say, okay, this happened, that happened. Right, now I get it. Now I'm going to sit with you and listen to you because you've done it. You've spent hours doing it. So, yeah. self-proclaimed gurus. There's millions of them right now. They're all over YouTube, they're all over TikTok, and people buy into them because they get so excited by what they've just said or what they look like. It's become a false world. It really has become a false reality, and that's why we're where we are right now, because everybody's listening to actors and actresses in this world. Interesting days, eh? Anyway, I love you all. This is food for thought. Never ever give your heart and soul, your spirit, give your everything to somebody. Just enjoy conversation, and then, oh, spirit. Yeah, even she knows spirit's here. She's just got up at the same time. Wow, that was strong. That wasn't a happy energy, that was a heavy energy. Whatever that was. Anyway, so what did I say? Can't remember what I said. That was heavy, that was. Flipping heck. Can't remember what I said. Sorry. So that's it, it's all good. Oh yeah. Live your life by your experience, not by somebody else's conversation. That's my message today. I'm wishing you all a lovely day. What did I feel? My ear kind of went pop, high, and then have you ever been in the water and gone quite low down? The lower you go, the more it hurts. I don't know if you've ever felt that. Anyway, sometimes you can't really cope with it and you have to come up again. Well, if it's a negative spirit, if it's a heavy energy, if it's spirit trapped in between two worlds, whatever you want to call it, you normally find that it's more uncomfortable. There's more uncomfortable feelings. If it's love and spirit that comes forward with love and healing, it's a bing, it's a same. Well, with me it is, not with everybody else. My ear pops, and then I get this. Then it stops, and then I get a really lovely feeling, and I think, oh, I feel warm, you can't really express it. I feel peace, I feel love, and I feel like nothing can hurt me at that moment. It's like pure bliss. It's like utopia, it's like heaven, it's anything, nirvana, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous. But when it's a heavy spirit, it comes with a heavier energy, and you feel it, it's dense, it's hard, and it can be painful, it can be stressful, it can I don't like, if I ever worked with people who had attachments, real attachments, I mean shitty heavy stuff, which was right, oh my God, we're going to have to do some work here. And the client was fighting and screaming. You've got to switch yourself to a different frequency. You've got to be higher. You've got to come with everything that you've got, love and healing and light, but with no fear, with no worries, but with a big smile on your face, as if you're saying, you can't affect me. And I used to say that at the beginning a lot. I stopped saying it, but I used to saying it. At the beginning, I used to say, you have no power over me. You have no power over me. But I realised I used to say that to also say it to the person who was lying down so they could hear. But eventually I didn't need to do that. I just used to just rest my hand on their heart and on their head. And after 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever it was, dissipates and goes. And they're never affected again. So I never had somebody who kept coming back. Only one lady, and then I realised it wasn't spirit. And I realised that at the beginning, but you never judge just in case, because you could always be wrong. So benefit of the doubt, do it. She had burns all over her feet, which a lot of women used to do because they'd gone to so-called healers in Morocco, burnt them with cigarettes, trying to get rid of the so-called evil. And when you work on them, you realise, okay, there's no evil in there. It's just the mind. Their mind is creating evil. Their mind is creating all the things that then you realise how powerful the mind is. You can create illness so easily. You can create false illusion inside you. You can believe that you've got evil inside you by your own creation. It's phenomenal. I could write a book about that, honestly. Yeah, fascinating. Here's a good one. Everybody who came to me who genuinely had an attachment had the healing session, and after 1 hour to 2 hours went and never had an issue again. Those who claimed they had attachments always used to come back. So that says it all. Well, it does in my world anyway. It tells me everything. So if you know somebody who keeps saying that they keep getting attachments and stuff, normally it's their issue, and they've programmed themselves by listening to other conversations or videos or films, and they created themselves. The power of your own creation should be everything that makes you smile, because if you can create pain and suffering inside you, you can create healing inside you. But most people don't believe that and won't even work on that. Oh no, it's not true. Yeah, it's true, mate. You can heal yourself. Oh, I can't do it. Okay then, well there you are, there's your answer. What do you mean? Well, you just said you can't, so you've just created it. I can't ever be rich. Okay then, there you go. You've just created it. You can be everything you want. How about being nothing and just being everything? Yay, what do you mean? He talks in riddles. I'm wishing you all a lovely day, guys. I really am. Take care of yourselves. Bye.